How to run a sub 25-minute 5K. Hi, I'm Dr. Ray Peralta, physical therapist and run coach. And if you've been trying to break 25 minutes in the 5K but feel stuck, you're in the right place. Today, I'm going to break down everything you need to know to run a sub 25-minute 5K, from training tips to lifestyle tweaks that really make a difference. Many runners plateau. Maybe you've been trying to run a sub 25-minute 5K for months or even years. Maybe you'll blame lack of time, or you say, oh, it's my genetics, I'm a slow runner, or it's the training plan's fault. I just need to find the right training plan. But by the end of this video, you'll have the tools to efficiently train smarter, not harder, and see real results. So what it takes to run a sub 25-minute 5K. So the basics are you have to maintain at least an 8-minute mile per pace or faster to hit a 25-minute, sub 25-minute 5K. And you've been running consistently, but you can't get close to that. Don't worry. I've seen this problem before. The solution, maybe you've been stuck at like a 12:30 pace, right? Maybe it takes you 30 plus minutes or even 40 minutes to run a 5K. And it's not just because, you're in your 40s, right? Yes, it's harder to make improvements when, when you compare yourself like 20 years old to a 40-year-old, but it doesn't mean you can't run a sub 25-minute 5K. It's not like some elite level running goal, right? This definitely could be achievable with the right training. So it's tempting to think, oh, if I just do the same run workout a few times a week at the same pace, magically, if I stick with it long enough, I'll get fast, right? There's a lot of beginners think this, right? If you're going from a complete beginner from like couch to 5K, you might get a little faster, but you may be stuck at the same pace, and now you're just maintaining the same pace for years. I've seen people who've been stuck at like a 12:30 pace for years. And they're thinking, oh, I just keep running the same pace. I don't know why I'm not getting any faster. Because they're just, the most obvious common mistake is that you're just not doing speed workouts. You're not challenging yourself to go beyond your comfort zone, right? If you stick at the same exact pace, long, slow running, it has its place for sure. But if you just do the same long, slow run workouts week after week with no speed work, spoiler alert, you're not going to get faster. So that's one obvious thing, is just add more speed work. The next thing, which might be a hard pill to swallow for, especially for a lot of adult runners, they think, oh, I should be in shape, not realizing that they might be overweight or obese, right? It's not sure if you're familiar with the statistics, but in the U.S., a large percentage of people are obese. I'm just going to pull up the numbers here because it is a pretty large number here. I want to say it's about 40% or more. I actually wrote this down here. Let's take a look. Yes, about 40% of adults in the US are obese, right? So that's a large percentage of people are obese, and same kind of carries over to running. Now, they might not be morbidly obese, but even as a coach, I would still say it's about 30 to 40% of people who take up running are still overweight. And sure, I not no judgment against that, right? If you obviously so a lot of people get into running because they're trying to lose weight. However, then they get stuck and they kind of forget that, hey, if you want to get faster, you might like, wait, of course, if you want to get faster, if you're leaner, you're going to run fast, right? If you lose some weight, I'm not saying you have to be, rail thin. You don't have to be like pencil thin. But if you're obese or overweight, getting to like a healthier weight will actually help improve your performance, right? It's not rocket science, folks. If you lean up a little bit, again, it doesn't have to be extreme. Just get to a healthy weight can really help. And if you're not sure where you're at, one, you could do the BMI, the body mass index. And I know that's not the most accurate. Better measurement would be a body fat percentage, right? You get body fat percentage either with certain scales that measure your body fat percentage, almost like send a small electrical current called bioimpedance analysis, BIA scale, which is just a fancy term for these scales that send a small electrical current to get your body fat percentage. Or you go to like most gyms now have like personal trainers who you can measure your body comp. You could just pay the small fee, get a body fat percentage scale with those skin fold calipers, or they have the bod pad. And even some places you could do a DEXA scan to get your body fat percentage, which will be more accurate. And then you'll see, oh, in my body fat percentage, am I in the overweight category, in the obese? And if you're trying to run faster, you really want to be, athletic. I would recommend to actually try to get your body fat percentage to an athletic level. So for men, that's about 13% or lower. And then for women, it's about 20% or lower body fat to be in this more athletic body fat range, which will actually help you run faster. I know it's hard. Some people are sometimes in denial about this. It's a hard pill to swallow. Like, oh, but I run, but I'm still overweight. And sometimes people don't want to look in the mirror like, yeah, you're actually overweight, and you just want to lose some weight, and then you actually start running faster. So sometimes it's not about changing your training plan. It could be that your 5K plan is actually fine. You're just not doing anything from the nutrition standpoint to lose the weight. So nutrition does matter, right? You just can't run alone and hope that the weight is going to fall off. You'd have to, one, do a lot more running there than you are doing now, which for a lot of people, that's unrealistic. If you're working a full-time job, you can't do like 2 run workouts a week. I mean, excuse me, two run workouts a day, like 2-a-days, and then do that 7 days a week, right? 14 run workouts a week. That's pretty unrealistic for most people, unless you're an elite athlete. But if you're an elite athlete, you're probably already going to be following all the elite athlete habits, like eating right, and then already be at a athletic level of body fat percentage. So yeah, what really matters. So again, running alone is not going to erase the junk food that you maybe overindulge in junk food, right? You're like, oh, I need carbs, but then you eat a crap load of pasta, French fries, ice cream, and things like that, going way above, like just overindulging. And you're going to have to eat healthy. And some people are like, oh, but I do vegetarian or vegan. You can still eat junk food as a vegan or vegetarian, right? Just because you think you're doing a vegetarian thing and you're still eating junk food, and you're still overweight, that's still a big roadblock. And if you're trying to get faster, right? If you're watching this, maybe you're actually trying to get faster, cleaning your diet up, eating whole unprocessed foods, whole fruits and veggies, not that deep fried stuff, lean proteins. And if you eat meat, lean protein, lean chicken, lean beef. And, that can help really cleaning up your diet, can help you get to a lean weight, what I call your ideal race weight, so you could actually run faster, right? Oftentimes, this actually is probably the biggest road limiter, is just being overweight or a healthy weight. And then also being hydrated, making sure you're properly hydrating, drinking enough fluids, making sure you're hydrated. Because also a good percentage, maybe like a good 20 or 30% of people in the US are actually chronically dehydrated, right? They're not like dehydrated to the point that they need to go to the emergency room because they're about to have a heat stroke, but they're dehydrated enough that they're pretty sluggish. They're not thinking as properly, and just simply drinking enough fluids can help your body just function optimally, especially for endurance sports, for like running, right? Next, training smarter and not just harder. Consistency is key, right? If you're only running 2 to 3 times a week, and again, not really making big efforts, like even though your training plan may call for speed workouts, but you're like half-assing it, not really showing up doing the speed works, like, oh, I just heard of this easy running and I run easy all the time. Guess what? When you do the zone 2 training, it should be 80% easy and 20% hard. And the hard should actually be hard. It shouldn't be 100% easy all the time, unless you're recovering from an injury or something. If you're relatively healthy, again, you don't have like some orthopedic injuries, you should be able to do some hard speed workouts during that training week, right? It doesn't have to be super elaborate. At least one hard speed workout. We think about longer repeats, especially if you're training for the 5K. And you should know that your splits too. You should just not guess it, right? So if you're doing for a sub 25-minute 5K, that might be doing like a 4 by 800 meters at a 359 split, which would be, for 8 minutes, like half of 8 minutes is like 4 minutes, would be a 359 for 800 meter, which is a half mile. So like a sample workout again would be 4 by 800s, right? Or, doing 3 by 1 mile, 3 by 1 mile at 8-minute split. Or you should know your target splits. So when you do your interval speed workout, you're actually working hard enough towards the target pace or splits that you need. Tempo runs. You also want to do tempo runs. It should be like 20, 30, 45-minute tempo runs where you actually maintain threshold pace, which is typically like 5K pace, right? It's actually around race pace. You want to try to maintain that whole effort for a good 30, 45 minutes if you can. Or maybe if you're not fit enough to maintain that, maybe 30 seconds slower than your target pace, right? So if you're trying to do 8 minute, but that's too fast for you for tempo, maybe do an 8:30 pace or a 9 if that's you're not able to sustain the 8-minute flat for the whole tempo run. And then long run, right? So you want to build up your aerobic capacity. So long runs, they should typically be more than the actual distance of the 5K. So think like, 10K or 15K, which would be like a 6 mile or 9 mile run, at least once a week. A long run that's going to also help you build up your aerobic fitness so you could actually sustain that. And then when you do the 5K is going to feel a lot easier for you. So let's break down the science. Why are we doing these different types of workouts? One, the 5K, 94% of the 5K run, when you're doing a 5K, 94% of that is aerobic. That means you're using oxygen, the aerobic energy systems to, fuel your body, convert oxygen into fuel, ATP energy. And then only 6% of this is anaerobic. So that's like the ATP coming from the glycolytic energy system and creatine phosphate system. So it's very short-lived energy systems. Only 6% is anaerobic, right? It's not a complete sprint, right? You're not doing like a 100-meter sprint. It's 94% is aerobic. That means you have to build up when you're doing interval works. You're not going to do very short sprints of like 100-meter, 200-meter sprints to train for a 5K. You're going to do longer intervals, which I'm a big fan of the 800-meter or 1 kilometer intervals or even mile intervals. You need longer intervals when you're doing your speed workout. Don't fall into the trap. Oh, I'm just going to do a 20-second interval. No, your interval should be closer to like 4 minutes or so. So the 800-meter interval is a perfect interval for a 5K runner, especially if you're trying to run a sub 25-minute 5K. Sorry, you have to have smart training. You just can't, oh, I'm just going to follow whatever random speed workouts. Oh, sprinters do, you have to be more scientific about the smarter approach to this, and you'll actually start getting faster specifically for the 5K. You also want to do strength training. So common myth is that runners want to avoid the gym. They think that, oh, if I do strength training, I'm going to get too bulky. It's going to slow me down. But that could be further from the truth. If you do the right type of strength training, if you don't train like a bodybuilder, you're spending hours and hours in the gym, right? Because that could just take out your energy away from running and then may also lead to overuse injury because now you're doing high volume strength training, high volume running. No. What you want to do with your strength training is be efficient. So do a single set to muscle fatigue or muscle failure, full body workout at least twice a week. You don't need to do endless sets and reps, one set to failure into 8 to 12 rep range. So that means you take a weight that you fatigue about the 8 to 12 rep range is all it takes. For example, you might do leg press, squats, split squats, lunges, deadlifts, calf raises with a weight, again, that you fatigue in the 8 to 12 rep range, a single set to fatigue, right? And you can do a full body routine. It doesn't have to take that long. You could actually then pair it with the run workout. So that way you don't have an excuse like, oh, I'm too exhausted from the strength work. I couldn't get to the run. No, you could do the strength workout for about 20, 30 minutes and then do another 30 to 45-minute run workout. And you could be done within a little around an hour or so with both strength and running without having to make the excuse like, oh, no, the strength training took so much out of me. I couldn't do the run. The next thing that a lot of runners make, especially beginners, is recovery. They neglect recovery. Do you know about 1/3 of adults are sleep deprived, right? And when you're just sleep deprived, you're just going to be sluggish. This also sounds like common sense, but you also need to sleep enough. Sleep is where progress has happened. So aim for at least 7 hours of sleep every night and be consistent with that. Don't, pull out your phone and be like, oh, I'm just going to scroll my phone. And then you lose another hour or so of sleep because you're on your phone wasting time. And that's going to eat into your sleep, which could put you at risk for future injury and then obviously slow you down if you're trying to get faster. So prioritize sleep. And then if you are feeling tight or some soreness, you can even do like foam rolling, right? So it's like a foam rolling is like a self-massage, foam roll tight areas, or do like light yoga on run or strength days, or even mix in a little bit of yoga, like maybe 10 minutes of yoga or some stretching to help stretch out tight areas and help keep you injury free. So people often say they don't have enough time to train, but oftentimes if you look at their phone, this is a simple thing. Just pull out your phone, check the screen time usage, and you'll be like, whoa, that screen time tells a whole lot of a different story. And I'm not talking about screen time related to work, like you're like, oh, but I have to work for my job. I'm talking about non-work related screen time. Sometimes it's 3 hours, 4 hours a day of non-work related screen time, right? Scrolling social media. So you can find time to prioritize, working out, running, right? So something like, oh, I don't have time to run. You have the time. Trust me, if you look at your screen, even though you might be working a full-time job, maybe you're a parent and stuff, with the exception of having very small children, most people will actually find that they do, in fact, can get at the very least 3 run workouts a week and then 2 strength workouts a week. It's really not that difficult to pull off. We're not talking about doing, elite level athlete training schedules where you're training 10, 14 hours a week. I'm talking about 5 hours a week And if you really need to cut it down, you could be still pretty efficient with just 3 hours a week, right? 3 to 5 hours a week. Most people can find the time. They just got to prioritize it. It's a matter of priorities. So if you focus on the goal, you can hit the sub 25-minute 5K if you're consistent, right? It's not just about finding the training plan, because if you just find a training plan, but you don't stick to it and you just kind of wing it, you dabble here and there, you keep switching training plans, you're not consistent, you're not going to improve. So it's not just about finding the perfect training plan. It's about a well-rounded lifestyle, being committed to a well-rounded lifestyle, including fitness, recovery, nutrition, strength training, and then you'll actually hit your goal. I've seen many runners who actually make the leap, they commit, and it's 100% possible if you follow the right steps. Now, if you need additional guidance, I do have a free training that kind of breaks down my method a bit more detail. And if you really want that expert one-to-one touch, I do offer one-to-one coaching for my athletes, for my runners. So feel free to sign up for my page. I'm gonna drop the free training here. Anyways, I'm out, y'all.